Hey guys, me again, Orchler with this. Where I last left off, let's see, checking. Where I last left off, they dealt with the demon army. They dealt with anything that really came their way. And they've found Strife, who is in the body of Momo, Yorozu now. It's very confusing for them, yes. As for anything else, really. Oh, let's see. Scratching my face real quick, give me a second. Nothing else except now they're doing the heroes versus villains. And for clarification, like I said before, the Horsemen still sort of uplift in a way All Might. They see him on a pedestal as well, seeing him as the pinnacle of humanity. That he's the greatest that they could ever achieve naturally. Without having to make any infernal deals, anything like that. He is the apex of all of creation by their personal point of view. Especially when they did research on him where All Might supposedly did a non-stop fighting crime spree for 3 days. 3 days straight without taking a rest. He was all over Japan, going back and forth. That's when he was in his prime. So, what time is it? It's pretty late. Anyways, what happened is this. As All Might splitting up the teams, only one person put down a thing for the fighting. And so that one thing was, if I remember, I'm pulling it up now, is Death and War versus Fury and Strife. They're the only ones who put anything down. So that's what they're doing. As he pulls out the thing, it's Death and War versus Fury and Strife. Strife and Fury are on defense, while War and Death are on offense. Or otherwise, Death War heroes, Strife Fury villains. As Fury and Strife get a bit of time to get all their things together, Strife ends up pulling out her stuff so that way she can barricade the rooms and all that. And she's actually able to do more with Momo's quirk. I'm just gonna say she's able to do it because their bodies will probably be more condensed in a way. That is how I view it, that their muscles and all that are superior. Their bodies are just more dense, so that way they're tougher. So she has more fat lipids than she may look like she has. So as that's how they, do everything. As they're preparing for the assault, Fury's talking with Strife saying, "So, how should we do this, sister?" As she's like, As they're being kind of quiet, so it's more or less Momo, she's like, As this Strife, since he does have Momo's... was Momo really calculating? I don't think she really was until after, so... She's thinking, she's trying to remember all the lessons Death really gave about stuff like fortificating, defending areas. She's like, would Death be a better teacher at this, or would War? What goes mine really as it's Strife. Anyways, where was I? I had to go away for a bit, but yeah, they're doing their jobs, each of their jobs as Death and War are strategizing. It's well, Death, you go from below. You go from above. I'll go from below. They are technically not the weakest of the Horsemen. The two of us are much bigger than either of them. It would be difficult for us to move, as Death's thinking, he's your point is known, War, but do not let your hot-headedness get us in trouble. Do you understand? It's of course, brother, why wouldn't I? As he starts walking up, as Death's just come to regret this. I'm gonna train him so hard he wish he will die a second time. As he jumps up and actually, technically, he's died 3 times that I know of. He died, 1, 2, 4 times. He's died 4 times that I know of. So the first time was when Death had left him to defend an area and he died. Second time, see, first, second time dying was in Armageddon, when it was like sort of doing that. And the other time was when he died, when he was stabbed in the chest. And so he's like, I'll make you wish you'll die a fourth time, War, if you mess this up. Hazard's like, yeah. This is gonna be quite tedious, I can feel it. As he cracks his neck, he's like, alright, I wonder who's gonna win out, Fury or Strife? Which one of their arguments will prevail? He started making his way towards inward. Strife's like, alright. As he's like putting her ear to the ground, alright, Ward's definitely below us. I can hear his big stumpy feet already marching like bum 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 bum. It's like, alright, say we take down Ward first. As like, no. You are gonna take down War. I'm gonna stay here and wait for Death. He's like, what do you mean I'm gonna go down there? You know how War is, and my effects will barely hurt him. He's like, he's pretty much like Wrath. Remember? You had a fight with him. But Wrath is an idiot. War is not. As it's just like, oh, okay, oh, please, look, here. As she tosses Fury's one of her guns, she says, take care of that. I'm expecting it back. Now just armed with one gun, she's like, alright, things just got a whole lot more difficult. Fury's like, oh, fine. She found War and actually shot a couple of shots at him, like, as he's like, that was well done, Strife. Or, well done, Strife. Should have known you'd come after me with all your, like, bravado. As he's waiting for a comical retort, he's like, odd, she would have responded by now. As he jumps forward and crashes through a wall where he saw the person running, or thought saw the person running away from. So, when they made their move, what happened was that he crashes through a wall and Fury jumps out of the way because she heard him charging. As when it came down to it, War's like, Fury. She gave you one of her guns. She's always been kind of clever. Even when we went on missions together, Strife always came up with ways to help us do things quicker. Fury standing there as War draws his sword, he's like, so, as he flips it around, shall we get down to business? To defeat the Huns. No, sorry. As he's like, alright. As he cracks his neck, he's like, let's get this over with. As he jumps forward and slices his sword on the ground. As then we cut up to Death, he's like, as he listens closely, he's like, I can already hear, I guess War found Fury. As he can hear the whips, like the whoosh. As then you got Strife, who's like hiding up on the, like on one of the pillars that's not facing the door. She is not in sight of the door. So as she's standing there, or climbed up there, she's like, alright. As then a crow flies around and lands on the building, as she's like, hang on a second, isn't that? As then she's like, oh shit. As then a scythe comes running through the wall and hits one of the pillars. Or actually hits precisely where she was, as she had to jump out of the way and shot where she thought the scythe came from. As Death says, you're always quite smart, Strife. But giving Fury one of your guns, bet that threw War through quite a bit of a loop. As then we cut down to War and Fury, they're like, come on, you pansy, hit me harder. As War's like, alright, fine. As he smashes his sword down the ground. They know they gotta be extremely careful when it comes to using the spells and like. Because their spells are really damaging. But War himself has to hold back quite a deal. Because if I remember, he's physically the strongest of the horsemen. So as he goes to smash down on the sword, He has to make sure he doesn't use his full strength, otherwise his building would not be a building for much longer. As then they go, you cut back to Strife and Death. They're jumping around. Strife is shooting at Death. As Death goes to make a run for the bomb, Strife charges forward, shoots her a bunch with her guns, and just sends her into a wall. He's like, it's starting to get on my nerves, Strife. And she's like, well, ain't that the purpose of this game? As she just pretty much holds up her revolver in one hand, just gives the Death the sign of, come on. As Death comes at her, seemingly angry. And she's like, oh no. As he teleports forward and just touches the bomb. As he's like, you know, Strife, you've always been a cunning foe, but you're never the smartest. As in, it's like, the hero team wins! And Strife's like, oh man! As Fury's like, what? Oh, when I'm gonna get up there, I'm gonna strangle Strife! It's like, as War at this point is kind of tied up with the whip, he's like, can you let me go now, sister? She's like, I think so. As she releases him with her whip, as she's like, no, brother. As she cracks her neck. This has been quite eventful. I cannot wait to spar with you a second time. He's like, aye, same here, sister. As she helps him up. It's like, good sportsmanship, Mina Shido. As for the rest of you, you did quite well, but there are some things we must speak about. So when they arrive, they get a lecture about how some of the things could have gone wrong. Some of the things that they did could have caused the building to collapse. War. Some of the things they could have done could cause the bomb to explode. Death and Strife and Fury. You did well. She's like, haha, suck it. As they all go through the days and just watch everyone take care of their things. Bakugo wins his. Uraraka wins hers. And let's see. Momo, Mina, Deku and Nita. Deku and Nita are excluded, so it's just Mina and Momo. So Momo was paired with Mineta. So that means Bakugo goes with Mineta. Uraraka goes where Mina was. So that way it's like evens out. But this time, Bakugo gets is just, as he's in there, he's just listening to Mineta ramble about girls. He's like, alright, keep calm. You gotta learn to deal with knowing things like this, Bakugo. Don't murder him yet. It's like, and so, yeah, as Mineta's going about like his top 10 favorite heroes, let's just say like that. As, of course, it's all women, because Mineta is like that. The biggest perv this side of the galaxy. I feel like there's an alien out there somewhere sneezing at the fact of this. But anyways, as we get down to it, it's the next day and now they're heading to the USJ. They don't have anything important coming up really, thanks to them dealing with that demonic army. As Hawks tries to actually contacts Deku one time saying, hey, I heard you got into UA. He's like, yep. Well, listen, if you ever want, there's a thing that UA does where it's called the work studies or internships at some point. Just let you know, if you guys ever appear on there, I'm sending you guys one. Alright? He's like, yeah, whatever you want. He's like, you could come work for me now, but then that would be a problem. He's like, why is that? Well, excuse me. Just had some chicken nuggets. That's what Hawk is saying. He says this, well, the higher-ups would probably be quite worried about the Horsemen returning. I haven't said anything yet, just to let you know. He's like, that is appreciated, Hawks. Oh, so why? It's late. I'm going to bed. It's like, you horsemen need sleep? It's like, not much, but I've been awake for 12 days straight. He's like, oh, good luck. He's like, yeah. As Def goes ahead and collapses into bed, he's like, You know, as a horseman, I would never have been able to enjoy this luxury. As he just hugs his bed. The most relatable feeling I would say ever is when you first wake up and that bed feels so nice and welcoming and you just hug it tighter. He's like, I don't want to leave you. Oh, you feel so nice. As he can like feel himself relaxing and then he feels a pop. He's like, Dad, I just cracked my back. I don't care. As he just falls asleep completely. Next, like a USJ is like a week or so away. So as we appear over there, it's like as they're all just sitting in the bus, they're all riding over in their hero uniforms. They're all just looking at the Four Horsemen as they're all on their own side of the bus. David. We cut over to as they're talking about War and how he's super strong. Deku's just looking around. He's like, It's happy to know that they're all having a nice life so far. As Jiro is actually talking to Momo, or Strife in this, still. Got Mina talking with Ejiro, and you got Ida just sitting in the back, just listening to the other ones talk about him. And Deku's just sitting there listening to Bakugo ramble on. He's like, Bakugo, whatever. Little test you want to do between us, I will dominate you. I'll let you know. He's like, but I won this. Don't you dare bring in the fucking entrance ceremony. I'm gonna smack you, I swear to God. But I'll have my ghoul stick attack you. He's like, those little weak bastards, they ain't do nothing against me. He's like, oh God. It's like, but hey, what do you mean? Like, Bakugo here had the highest score of the entrance exam. It's like, oh yeah, wasn't that like in the few hundreds? Like, damn right. Not Death. Deku right here was just a few points behind me. As Deku's like, you don't have to keep reminding me every 20 minutes. He's like, of course I do, otherwise you're gonna get all arrogant again. He's like, I'm never arrogant. I just have self-confidence. Baku says, yeah, they're the same thing. He's like, no, they're not. As they're like, so what are you guys' abilities anyways? You guys seem to have like a jackpot of them. As before they can explain it, I was like, we're here. As it's like, oh, cool. As they all get off the bus and like start heading into the USJ, they all, as Deku and them just sense something, it's like something big is about to happen. As they walk in and take a look around, it's like, things seems calm at the moment. As in they just hear, whoa. As that's after 13 has been giving her whole speech and everything. Like, what's that horning sound? It's like, as Strife's like, fucking angels. As it's like, guys, prepare yourselves. As Def and all of them get their weapons ready. As the angels land down. But they aren't landing down just to come watch. Then a portal opens up. And then out steps some of the first demons. As it's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I thought we dealt with this already, Strife. As it's like, what do you think I'm thinking right now? We dealt with this. What the fuck, Samuel? As, speak of the devil, quite literally, as Aizo's like, oh, you get back! As in a fiery portal appears right next to him. He's like, indeed, I would recommend you all get back. It's like, oh, what the fuck? He's like, oh, let me introduce myself. I am Samael, the Prince of Hell. It's like, oh, Samael. What do you want, Samael? He's like, well, I came to give a warning up to some of my... As he looks over at the Four Horsemen, he's like, let's just say, business partners. But it seems I am a little late. It's like, Samael, as War actually says, you couldn't have warned us about this, Samael. As he's like, be calm, little horseman. If I had known, I would have dealt with it myself. But see, these seem to be a remnants of that army you four destroyed a month or so ago. Like, excuse me, a month or so? Wasn't even a month. This time worked differently, ho? Ah, quite it does. That's why there's so many demons about, even though you slaughter them in the millions. As they're like, what are the numbers, Samael? Is what Death asks. Samael says, well, from my guess, only a few thousand. But I'm guessing those angels are gonna be not wanting you to interfere. Angels were supposed to stay off our turf. It's like, there was a quite personal thing. Angels are to stay off the soil of Earth along with demons unless the first party breaks said oath. But they both become liable to be attacked by the warriors of Earth. Truly, such petty squabbles are not worth my attention. I'll leave you to it, horseman. As he all opens his portal, he's like, as they all said, what did he mean by horseman? As they all look at each other, as it's just like, I guess he's like, it's, as before any of them can answer, Dev says, that does not matter at the moment. War, get that panel open and throw it open. As then they see the black portal of Kurogiri appearing, as they all show up and they're like, Kurogiri is like, we are here, Master Shigaraki. As Shigaraki's like, what the hell is this? As he's scratching his neck, he's like, when did all these angels and demons get here? As he's like, I am unsure, Shigaraki. But from what I can tell, they are not on our side. As the demons start charging at them, Shigaraki says, no, Mu, kill them. As then it just barrels into the army and just starts ripping demons apart. As the war's like, what is that thing? As Def says, that thing ain't human. That thing ain't human, that's for sure, is what Strife replies. He's like, so, as she pulls out her gun, she's like, shall we get business started? As it's like, as Fury says, I've been waiting for a good fight. Didn't we just fight each other a week ago? He's like, yes, an entire week ago. That's not enough time. As Def's like, War, listen, open up those doors. Strife, Fury, protect the crowd. Strife, fire from afar. When all those are done, then you can let loose. It's like, what are you gonna do, Death? As the other ones are like, Death? It's like, I'm gonna go have a chat with those fine gentlemen over there. As he starts walking towards the crowd, he actually somewhat summons all his armor. Even the mask comes as he summons his old ancient looking armor, the one that everyone knew Death wore. As he even gets that little bone mask he wears. As he starts walking down the steps, some of the angels and demons stop fighting. As they turn their heads, just like, it can't be. As they all start backing away, it's you. As he forms his scythe into a bigger one, he's like, you made a grave mistake, little angels and spiky demons. I have no mood to play with you today. As then he just throws his scythe and immediately decapitates a lot of them. And he's like, and I shall reap what you have sown. As then, that's where we're going to end this one off at. Cliffhanger, again. Hey guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hope you guys continue to enjoy this, and I hope you guys have a nice day, nice night, nice life.